to this edition of News Today, a series in which we discuss and briefly analyze the important news of the day. Let's have a look at today's main headlines. India hosted the second Voice of Global South Summit, the 30th Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Economic Leaders Meeting concluded in San Francisco. Nepal bans the social media app TikTok, citing disruption to social harmony. National Press Day was organized with the theme Media in the Era of Artificial Intelligence. Indian researchers detect X-ray polarisation for the first time from a black hole outside the Milky Way. RBI increased the risk weights with respect to consumer credit exposure of commercial banks and non-banking finance companies. Starting with today's first news, India hosted the second Voice of Global South Summit. Before moving on, first let's discuss what the term Global South exactly means. It refers to various countries often described as developing, less developed or underdeveloped. The concept can be traced to the Brandt Report of 1980. Coming back to the news, the summit focused on ways to sustain the momentum generated toward a more inclusive, representative and progressive world order. During the summit, the Indian Prime Minister unveiled Dakshin, the Global South Center of Excellence, and called for 5 C's for Global South: consultation, cooperation, communication, creativity, and capacity building. India had previously hosted the first Voice of Global South Summit, where 125 Global South countries came together with the theme Unity of Voice, Unity of Purpose. The summit highlights the importance and need of South-South cooperation. South-South cooperation can help in addressing the disproportionate impact of global challenges such as climate change on Global South countries and improve representation of the Global South in global forums such as the UN Security Council. Further, such cooperation can play a crucial role in achieving food and energy security and fulfilling sustainable development goals. Over the years, India has taken several initiatives for South-South cooperation, like recently inducting the African Union in the G20 grouping. India has also taken a number of institutional initiatives such as the International Solar Alliance, Global Biofuel Alliance, and Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure to enhance cooperation among the Global South. Other such steps include Maharishi for Global Food Security, G20 Digital Public Infrastructure Framework, and the proposal for Weather and Climate Monitoring Satellite for Global South. Moving on, the 30th Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Economic Leaders Meeting concluded in San Francisco. For the first time since 2011, USA has hosted the annual APEC Summit. The theme for this year's summit was Creating a Resilient and Sustainable Future for All. Now let's take a closer look at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. It is a grouping of economies around the Pacific Ocean aiming to promote trade, investment and economic development in the region. It operates on basis of non-binding commitments with decisions reached by consensus. The grouping accounts for nearly 62% of global GDP, half of global trade and covers 38% of the global population. Talking about the membership of APEC, it was formed in 1989 with 12 members and now has 21 members including countries like USA, China, Australia, Canada, Russia, Peru, Vietnam and Thailand. India has been an observer country since the year 2011. So the question is, why is India not a member of APEC? There have been reservations about India's protectionist instincts and its unsatisfactory records on economic reforms and WTO engagement. Moreover, the membership in APEC group froze in the year 1997. Also, India's lack of Pacific coastline has worked against its membership. That being said, the APEC group is still quite significant for India. It plays a crucial role in reducing trade barriers, promoting free flow of goods, services and capital among APEC economies. Further, it can improve physical infrastructure linkages, people mobility and institutional ties across the Asia-Pacific, boost India's export, attract investment and support initiatives like Make in India, and lastly facilitate technology transfer in fields like IT, pharmaceuticals and renewable energy. In the next news, Nepal bans the social media app TikTok, citing disruption to social harmony. Earlier, TikTok was banned in India and other countries like Australia, European Union, USA, and Belgium. The move calls attention to the misuse of social media. So let's discuss more about social media and related cybercrimes. Social media is a collective term for websites and applications like Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, and Twitter that focus on communication, content sharing, and collaboration. At the beginning of the year 2023, there were 398 million social media users in India, and as per METI, India witnessed 13.91 lakh cyber security incidents in 2022. Social media cyber crimes can be classified into cyber crimes targeting social media users such as privacy violating crimes and account hijacking, cyber crimes facilitated by social media platforms which may include phishing scams, fake profiles and cyber harassment, and lastly cyber crimes advertised on social media platforms such as advertising for stolen credit cards and video tutorials of unlawful acts. So what are the major reasons behind social media's vulnerability to cyber crimes? Cyber criminals use internal information for social engineering attacks like data theft. Also, data aggregation through quizzes provides cyber criminals with information to achieve unauthorized access to respondents' accounts. Moreover, unsecured portable devices like mobiles have the risk of information being stolen from lost devices. Importantly, the popularity and high usage of social media makes it more vulnerable to cybercrimes. On an average, an Indian spends around 194 minutes daily on social media platforms. So what can be done to reduce social media cyber risks? First of all, we need to develop the knowledge to report, block and filter content. Further, geolocation can be turned off and a private internet connection should be used to operate social media. Before moving on, let's discuss what steps have been taken in India to reduce social media cybercrimes. The online cybercrime reporting portal was created to enable complainants to report complaints pertaining to child sexual abuse material. The Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center was established to handle issues related to cybercrime in comprehensive and coordinated manner. Other measures include the Cyber Crisis Management Plan by CERTIN for countering cyber attacks and Cyber Swachhata Kendra, which is a botnet cleaning and malware analysis center. In our next news, the National Press Day was organized with the theme Media in the Era of Artificial Intelligence. Celebrated on November 16 every year, National Press Day is symbolic of free and responsible press in India. It commemorates the establishment of the Press Council of India, which acts as a regulatory body for news media. Talking about the Press Council of India, it is the statutory quasi-judicial autonomous authority. It was first set up in the year 1966 under the Indian Press Council Act of 1965. It was then re-established in 1979 under the Press Council Act of 1978. Its objective is to preserve freedom of the press by maintaining and improving the standards of newspapers and news agencies in India. Its main functions are to build up a code of conduct for newspapers, news agencies and journalists and review any developments that are likely to restrict the flow of news. Coming back to the news, the theme of National Press Day has highlighted the use of AI in media. AI has presented a number of opportunities in media. For example, it can be used for big data journalism to identify patterns and frame informed public opinion. Further, AI can help in automation of back office tasks, letting the media personnel focus on core journalism and also aid creation of personalized content. However, the use of AI in media also comes with a number of challenges. For instance, it can create credibility issues due to inaccuracies and can amplify misinformation through automated algorithms. The use of AI can also limit diverse perspectives through the creation of echo chambers, where one experiences a biased, tailored media experience, reinforcing their existing biases. Further, the use of AI also raises issues like micro-targeting of information to influence the democratic process, violation of intellectual property rights like copyright, and threats to media integrity due to data biases in generative AI models. So, what can be done to tackle these issues? Firstly, we need to ensure that AI models do not adopt biases from their training data. Also, collective action is needed to uphold journalistic integrity and ensure responsible AI use. Further, ethical human oversight is required on any AI generated content, and increased focus should be placed on fact checking and source verification. Moving on to the next news, Indian researchers have detected X-ray polarization for the first time from a black hole outside the Milky Way. Radiations are emitted from the vicinity of a black hole located in the Large Magellanic Cloud X3 or LMC X3 and located 2 lakh light years away from the Earth. The Magellanic Clouds are two irregular dwarf satellite galaxies orbiting our Milky Way galaxy in the southern celestial hemisphere. The two galaxies are Large Magellanic Clouds and Small Magellanic Clouds. So, how was the X-ray polarization detected? Researchers studied the LMC X3 using the Imaging X-ray Polarimetry Explorer or IXPE, the Neutron Star Interior Composition Explorer or NICER mission, and Nuclear Spectroscopic Telescope Array or NuSTAR. IXPE was the first mission of NASA to study the polarization of X-rays from celestial objects. ISRO's upcoming X-ray polarimeter satellite mission will be the second satellite with this capability. Researchers used X-ray polarimetry to reveal that X-ray emissions from this black hole were polarized in nature, which means it changes the degree and angle. Talking about X-ray polarimetry, it is a unique observational technique to identify where radiation comes from near black holes. It helps in studying the origin of cosmic rays in the universe, the nature of black holes, and the interaction of matter with the highest physically possible magnetic fields. Moving on, the Reserve Bank of India has increased the risk weights with respect to consumer credit exposure of commercial banks and NBFCs or non-banking finance companies. Risk weight refers to the capital that banks keep aside as provisioning to cover any loan defaults. So, where will this increase in risk weight be applicable? The risk weights have been increased on banks' unsecured personal loans, consumer durable loans, credit cards, and NBFCs' unsecured personal and consumer durable loans. The increased risk weight is applicable to outstanding as well as fresh loans. RBI has exempted microfinance loans by NBFCs from the risk weight increase. The measure was much needed given the rapid growth in unsecured loans in India. So, what will be the impact of this measure? It will increase the cost of borrowing for consumers. With this move, RBI is indirectly telling banks to slow unsecured loans and credit cards. Also, it will raise the capital requirements of banks and NBFCs, which will increase their cost of capital. Also, this step is in line with Basel norms. Talking about Basel norms, they are the international banking regulations issued by Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. The Basel Committee has produced 3 norms for banking to tackle various risks faced by banks. In India, RBI began implementing Basel I in the year 1992 and Basel II in 2009. RBI has also issued guidelines on implementing Basel III in a phased manner. Now let's have a look at today's personality in news, which is Sachchidananda Sinha. He is in news as Bihar Chief Minister has inaugurated the Sachchidananda Sinha statue in Patna on his birth anniversary on 10th November. Sachchidananda Sinha was born in Ara in the erstwhile Bengal Presidency. He played a crucial role in the formation of the province of Bihar and Odisha. He was an active member of the British Committee on Indian National Congress in London. He was also a member of the Imperial Legislative Council from the years 1910 to 1930, and as a constitutional nationalist, he believed that Indians should adopt constitutional means to attain freedom. An important thing to know about him is that he served as interim president of the Constituent Assembly before Rajendra Prasad was formally appointed as president. His important writings include Iqbal the Poet and His Message and Kashmir, the Playground of Asia. He exhibited values like integrity of purpose, leadership, and fortitude. As we conclude today's main news, let's take a look at some quick updates. The Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita Bill 2023 provides that 15-day police custody can be sought at any time during the initial investigation period. It suggests that police custody can be extended by a magistrate beyond the initial 50 days, unlike the existing provision. Union Minister for Commerce and Industry participated in the Investor Forum of the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. The partnership is the infrastructure plan first announced during the G7 summit in the UK and officially launched in the year 2022. The 2023 edition of Indo-Pacific Regional Dialogue concluded in New Delhi. The dialogue is an annual APEC-level regional strategic dialogue of Indian Navy. Its 2023 edition was organized by the National Maritime Foundation as the Indian Navy's knowledge partner. According to the Central Water Commission, in the year 2023, the water levels in reservoirs of India's southern states are low. Central Water Commission is a premier technical organization of India in the field of water resources, presently functioning as an attached office of the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Amazon India signed an MOU with the All India Council for Technical Education to extend its Amazon Women of the World program. The program aims to foster optimizing resource utilization, upskilling, and promoting tech careers among women in STEM. The government has clarified that the WHO report claiming 11 lakh children in India missed measles doses is not based on facts. Measles is a highly contagious disease caused by a virus, and it can be prevented by the measles rubella vaccine. As per NASA's James Webb Telescope discovery, exoplanet named WASP-107b consists of water vapor, sulfur dioxide, and silicate sand clouds. WASP-170b exoplanet, discovered in 2017, is situated 200 light-years away in Virgo constellation and is almost the size of Jupiter but similar in mass to Neptune. St. Philomena's Cathedral in Mysuru, Karnataka is facing conservation challenges. Built in Neo-Gothic style in 1840, it gained popularity under the reign of Maharaja Krishnaraj Wadeyar IV, the ruler of Mysore. Neo-Gothic architecture originated in England in 18th century. Before we go, it's time to put your knowledge to the test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of News Today. To get the answers to today's quiz and to download the PDF of News Today, make sure to check out the links in the description below.